Good evening. All right, today is Monday, May the 7th, in the year 2012 AD, and this is episode number 14 of the Mobuku Chronicles. And tonight, I'm just making some notes here. Tonight, I am going to talk about karma, because that's something that the people don't seem to grasp. In fact, very few people do. Is that karma is a very important reality, spiritual reality in our lives. Because what it means is that everything we say, everything that we think, everything that we feel, and everything we do is, first of all, it's recorded throughout the course of the day, and it has consequences. All these have consequences for our future, and it is important for us to take into account the karmic consequences of our thoughts, words, feelings, and deeds, because they have definite outcomes. Now, the reason why most people don't entertain the idea of karma and its consequences for future, well, for the future of this life to some degree, and most significantly for the future of our coming lives, because we do have repeated earth lives, and the one that we're in right now is only one of many that we've already experienced as human beings on the planet Earth, and we will experience many more to come. Now, of course, the reason why most people don't even think about it is because most people think that we only have one life, and that's once we die, that's it, it's all over, there's nothing more to say, and we're done with. However, that is not the case. So that's not a matter of belief, or, this has nothing to do with belief. This is spiritual realities that are real, and that we need to wake up to and start taking into account, because it affects how our future lives are going to turn out, how we behave in this life. And nobody can escape their karma. You can't hire a lawyer to get you off. It doesn't matter what our position or place or power status, or it doesn't matter. Everything we do, say, think, and feel are going to be recorded, and this recording is done meticulously on a day-to-day basis, from the time we get up in the morning to the time we go to sleep. And it's actually recorded by the moon beings, and that is their task, one of them. And the way it works is that we are born, we live, we go through the various experiences that we've gone through, we commit the various deeds that we commit, we say the various things that we say, and, as I said, all this is recorded. Now, when we pass through the gate of death, the first thing that happens after we pass through the gate of death is that we experience, in reverse order, everything that we've undertaken and said and done and felt from the moment we die all the way back till the moment we are born. Well, as long as our memory goes, because actually our memory doesn't really start until we're about 2 years old. Now, the interesting thing is about this experience of witnessing this tableau spread before us of our life in reverse order is that we not really experience what we've done so much as what we have done to others. That's what's important to understand, is that when we say, for instance, we hit somebody, we slap them on the face or hit them in the jaw with our fist or whatever, or we said something very nasty to them. When we experience this tableau in reverse order, we not only experience the event itself, but we experience what the other person felt while we were doing the deed. And of course, we're in a completely different frame of mind from what we are in our, when we're living in our body. And we have, therefore, very clear, shall we say, conception, which is very, shall we say, matter of fact of how we have treated other people. And so we know that we have to make up for our misdeeds. And of course I'm talking about, when I say about hitting somebody with your fist or slapping them on the face with your hand or saying something hurtful, these are relatively mild, shall we say, misdemeanors compared to killing people or murdering them or raping them or torturing them. And of course this kind of stuff goes on every single day all over the world. Killing and murdering and raping and torturing and various other, shall we say, misdeeds are committed every single second of the day worldwide. Now, as I said, all this is recorded for every single human being. So we need to take into account, when we're living our day-to-day lives, the consequences of our actions in respect of how that is going to affect our karma. Because there's a ledger, an account, and as any ledger, there's a credit side and there's a debit side. And of course we do, hopefully, to some degree, help people and do good deeds and say kind words and do what we can to be compassionate. And that's on the credit side of the ledger. And on the debit side is all the nasty things we've said to people, all the lying and the manipulating and the cheating and the physical and emotional and mental and sexual abuse that goes on. And so, after we pass through this period of time, which is called, I think it's called Karma Loka, and it lasts approximately the same amount of time that we spent asleep during the time we were here on earth between our birth and our death. And once that period is over, then we have to go through this procedure of determining how we are going to make recompense for what our misdeeds have with particular individuals. We have to make up to them if we haven't done so in this lifetime, in the next lifetime. So this is sort of the basis of karmic relationships that we all have. We have close ties to people in addition to our families, which are also karmically related. It's not accidental that we choose the parents that we choose, and the parents have the children that they have, and how they raise them, and so forth and so on. So when we pass through this period of time, we hook up with our, so to speak, spiritual advisors, and we consult with them and decide together. It's not a matter of anybody judging us. We are our own judges. We are our own, shall we say, jury, and we are, as I said, we're in a completely different frame of mind. So we actually want to make up the defects in our karma. We want to make balance, and so we arrange things along with our spiritual guides so that we are born in our next incarnation into a particular place and time and parents, so that we can most ideally fulfill our karma in our next incarnation. Because the answer is that we cannot change our karma during the time between death and rebirth. Nothing can change. So even though we will feel during that time the hurt of other people and their suffering that we have caused them, there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. I mean, that's the minimum. So we feel tremendous urge during this period of time. And of course, when we're born again in our future incarnation, which may be anything from 400 years to 2,000 years from the time we die, before we reincarnate again. I mean, there's a lot of variations of how quickly or how slowly people incarnate again after their recent passage through the gate of death. But there are manifestations of karma that will occur as a result. And that's and of course we forget that at this particular time. That may change. That may change. Well, it will change for those people who, as I am advising everybody and urging them to study Rudolf Steiner, which is where I get all this information from. I mean, Rudolf Steiner's legacy is a tremendous treasure for the whole of humanity. And he left behind 450 volumes of his writings and lectures and notes and so forth. And his particular mission in that his recent incarnation was to bring to humanity in the West the concept of reincarnation and karma. And because of course this in the East, this is very well known. I mean, it's just an accepted fact in the Eastern culture, the whole concept and idea of karma and reincarnation. But this was held back for the Western civilization up until very recently, because we were not, shall we say, mature enough to be able to handle the idea and the consequences thereof. But Steiner said, no, the time now is for the Western civilization, the Western world, to know about reincarnation and karma. And he was supposed to spend a great deal of his time here during his past life, because he lived from 1861 till 1925. He was supposed to spend most of his time going into great detail, however, on reincarnation and karma. However, he had, for reasons that have to do with the opposing spiritual powers who want to maintain humanity in a condition of being earthbound and not having any interest in the gods and spirits and being totally materialistic and so forth and so on. Those initiates that had come before Steiner were thwarted in various ways from